All right. So we got another movie here coming in. We got Frankenstein, Guillermo del Toro's new movie. Big fan of Guillermo. Last movie I saw his was Pinocchio. I think it was in like 2022. That was awesome. I Pacific Rim, Shape of Water. Uh, we love it. We love Guillermo here. Death Stranding, baby. As Dead Man, Hideo Kojima. I don't know. Everything he touches is awesome. Well, other than I think it was one of his first movies called like The Something Bone. That movie was bad, but whatever. Guillermo's awesome. I mean, I could glaze that guy all day. He's great. So Frankenstein. What did we think? New adaptation of Mary Shelley's book. I've never read it. So whatever. I think we got one, guys. Got another one. I don't hand it out a lot, but I'll talk about it a little more. Definitely go see it. Watch it wherever. Netflix, movie theater, whatever. It's probably I just watched it streaming wise because whatever. But I could definitely see it being a really cool theater experience. But no, the movie was great. It was a very good movie. I mean, I would assume most people, I haven't read the book, but just from pop culture and everything else, you would assume know the story. So hopefully I won't say spoilers if you don't know, but it is if you've seen any Guillermo movies, you know exactly what the vibes are, what to expect. I didn't watch any of the trailers. I just knew that when it was going to come out, I was going to see it because if it's got Guillermo's name on it, I'm going to see it. And you got Oscar Isaac's Jacob Elordi, that guy. Who is it? Mia Goth. Christoph Waltz is in it. That was cool. I didn't know he was gonna be in it. I never watched any of the trailers, nothing like that. But no, the cast was great. Mia Goth. I was surprised. Every single movie I have seen her in, I have not liked. First movie I saw her in was X. Did not like X. I thought it was bad. I just don't. I understand she's the scream queen, but I don't like it. She I liked Maxine. I thought Maxine was decent. Infinity Pool with her. That was bad. I don't know. I know she's the scream queen, but it gets a little annoying. So I was glad to see that. Oh my God, she can actually act and not just scream the entire movie. She reminds me of a Smiling Friends character sometimes in those movies. So I'm like, oh my God, she can act. So that's good. I'm glad because I didn't get the Mia Goth hype, but she's good. She was really good in this. I enjoyed it. So Oscar Isaac's in it. He does a phenomenal job as being the creepy weirdo. He's always good at that. If you've seen Ex Machina, it's very similar to those vibes. Kind of similar movie, to be honest. But no, he does a great job at just being that creep weirdo, just piece of crap. Is very, very good at it. Jacob Elordi, I mean, he does great in it. I know I watched a few of the clips on how they made it. That he was the way he moved or something, studying some Japanese death dance. Maybe, I don't know. It was Buto. I don't know. It was something weird like that. But it was very weird, kind of walked around like an infant a little bit. I mean, makes sense story wise. But no, yeah, the cast was great. The score was pretty cool. Very, Guillermo del Toro-esque and whimsical at certain points, and then very triumphant at some points, then, sad with things that happen. It's shot amazing. Very good. It didn't have, for most of the movie, it didn't have, the Netflix sheen on it that we see a lot, because Netflix is streaming, a lot. Sometimes the movies look, pretty bad, CGI wise. Now, there was only a few instances, because I don't know, CGI moments just bother me in movies, because it's like, dude, we figured out CGI like like 20 odd years ago, and we still have movies that have big budgets and the CGI still looks horrible. The CGI doesn't look horrible here, but there are some green screen moments where it's like, come on, dude. Like when they go to Castle Frankenstein or whatever it's called, it's like, all right, I don't know, it's just stupid. Or like animal CGI, it just like, I don't know. I when I see something like that, it just takes me out, because it's just like, come on, really, we can't do an animal? Like, what are we doing? But yeah, other than that, just there's some like PS4 level graphics. I mean, they're fine. It just doesn't match the movie. Specifically, like the fire scene in the Frankenstein Tower, whatever happens there, it just looks bad. The CGI just looks bad. But overall, it compared to the movie's quality, it's a blemish on it. So it's not the biggest deal. It's just, that's a critique of mine. I just don't like bad. I just don't CGI, I guess. But the set design, when it's not CGI, or at least looking like it with the backgrounds and stuff, the interior design, set design is amazing. I mean, it, Guillermo classic. It just, everything looks like lived in. All the little trinkets everywhere. The like bodies of, the proto Frankenstein stuff. It just looks awesome. Very like, God, because what is it? I think it's like in 1850, I think is what it takes place in. So it's like an alternate 1850 looking world with like the Guillermo twist on it. So that was cool. Because, if it was regular 1850, it would just kind of look boring. So that was neat to see. I always love little alternate history stuff, making it more like flamboyant or just cool looking. So that was really cool. I like that part. God, I don't think I have anything else on my mind. I'll just give it a rating. I gotta say, the holy smokes level. That's where we're at. I mean, it's a 9 out of 10. I didn't think it'd be throwing around another 9 out of 10. I didn't. I thought it'd probably be. I was thinking like when it first started, I was thinking like 7. Just going off vibes alone. You can usually tell if a movie's gonna be like, like a Black Phone or something immediately. But for what it is, I mean, 9 out of 10. I mean, it's a little slow at some parts. Just like, just basic movie stuff. Not a perfect movie, but I mean, it's good. It's worth a watch. I recommend seeing it. So yeah, I very surprised. I did not think a movie coming out, this late in the year was gonna get a 9 out of 10, specifically a Frankenstein movie. Because Guillermo movies are usually pretty good, but not this one. I think it might be his best one, in my opinion. I know some people might think Pan's Labyrinth or something like that, but I don't know. I identified with this story a lot more. I liked it. So that was really cool. So yeah, pretty much go see it. I will get into, I guess, the spoiler section now. So there we go. So the movie, it starts off, with Victor Frankenstein trying to, create like the proto creature. Trying to get like funding, kind of like in the other adaptations where he's like, throwing in like a gymnasium of people or whatever, trying to get funding. And he shows them in really cool practical looking effects, like the proto creature coming to life, and it was like really spooky and it was kind of cool. And then people are like, "Oh, that's unholy! It's bad! It's the devil's work!" And then some people are like, "Dude." So we see Christoph Waltz's character pretty much come up to him and be like, "Dude, I'll give you all the funding you want, man. You just gotta work on this." So that's what he does, and immediately I'm getting the vibes that these dudes are gonna hook up, 100%. There was something going on there. A little further reinforced down the line, nothing happens, but I'm like, something's going on with Oscar Isaac and Christoph Waltz here. I sense it. There's a thing here, but I guess I was wrong. So Yeah, I kind of skipped the one part. The movie starts off with just the creature just like beating the crap out of people on the Danish ship stuck in the ice. I mean, this dude is after Victor. You know, he wants him. You know, we know why. Well, we don't know why in the movie yet. If you don't know, so that was cool. I mean, he's pretty much like a super soldier. I mean, he's like going in there to, and people are flying back. He's pretty cool. I like his design. He's got like long hair. He's got like a balaclava or like some like face covering stuff with a giant hood. He looks pretty cool. There are definitely some Frankenstein aura farming moments in the movie. So those are always nice to see. I will always take aura farming. I will always do it. Love it in movies. So yeah, he's piecing these guys up. They take out, Thugnar's Glock to just kill him. He's the spinning barrel thing shooting him. It's not doing anything. He's invulnerable. Well, not invulnerable, but he's getting damaged, but it's not really doing anything. And so we kind of go into Victor's story, more or less. The movie's split up into like two parts. We got Victor's tale, and then we have the creature's tale. First start off with Victor. We learn, he's abused by his dad. His dad's trying to train him to be like, the best. He's beating him. We see that. Just to become the best. And then his mom dies. God, what was it? Yeah, his mom dies like Padme style type thing, just in childbirth or broken heart, whatever you want to go there. And then that, destroys him, and then he's like, I'm gonna become the best after that. So, but the dad being horrible, but the actor was phenomenal. He was I always forget his name. He's such a good actor, but I forget it every time because I feel like he plays so many villains. I think God, I'm sure he's been in some good stuff. I can only think of him like being in like the Godzilla movie as like the eco-terrorist, but that wasn't even like that good of a role. So yeah. And then there was like some weird like dark angel stuff, that like some red angel thing, that was kind of cool. The CGI looks like PS4 graphics. It was kind of weird. But that was cool. I liked it. And then he is a weird milk drinker. I don't know what was going on with that. I'm assuming if an adult is drinking milk, they have issues. Just on principle. Why are you drinking milk? I mean, you're not growing anymore. Like, stop. Like, you don't. It's weird, dude. Sorry. Then we start seeing Victor. He meets his brother's fiance. He really likes her. That's Mia Goth's character. He's kind of creepy. He like sneaks into like confession, and like she knows. Like, I don't know. That was weird. Dude's just a big creep. He's a weirdo. Elizabeth's pretty weird. I don't know. They're just weird people in this movie. So he just continues to work on his craft. He's like using like these like electrodes on like the proto creature, and like it comes to life in like a little jump scare moment. Not really jump scare, but like it just comes up, and it's pretty creepy. It's like a skull with no jaw, and it's like it's pretty cool. It looked practical. I'm sure there was some CGI elements in there, but it looked really good. So yeah, that was neat. The building of the creature scene was really cool. It was like this kind of I can't think of the word, but it was just going through a bunch of scenes. He's collecting bones from like a war torn like a battlefield, getting the best ones, like the ones from the middle that would still be like preserved, I guess the best. I don't really know. And then he just goes into making the best specimen possible. So he's getting legs, he's getting arms, he's getting feet, whatever, hands, and then sewing them all together, and then the perfect specimen being Jacob Elordi. That's what they mean by that, I guess. So that scene building him was really cool. And he does all the things. He climbs a tower, electricity strikes it, doesn't work. what we think. And then, this dude wakes up and it's like, he's looking at me. Like, what's going on? It was a pretty cool, like, reveal scene, because he's just, like, looking at him like the Rake, if you've ever seen that picture, like, just looking at him at the side of the bed. And he's, like, very, very odd stance. But, I mean, he just came alive and is, like, weird. So it makes sense. So, yeah, that was a really cool scene. And then immediately we start seeing him, like, kind of, in a way being a little nice to him, He first says, like, my name's Victor. He's just like, Victor, like the whole movie. And he's kind of nice to him in the beginning, and then it's like, all right, I'm going to chain you in the basement. So immediately that's like, oh man, that sucks. And then, so yeah, that's not good. And then, towards I know we learn it a little bit, no, actually. I'm 100% sure this is a Death Stranding reference. I'm going to bring it up as many times as I can, but when he awakes, there is a shot of, like, the camera going through his esophagus. I'm telling you, straight out of Death Stranding. I don't care. It's a reference. Guillermo del Toro and Hideo Kojima are best friends. It's a reference. It's connected. It's all connected. All the strand. Just had to make that claim. He wakes up and be nice to him, then starts abusing him like his father. Like, same thing. He does the same thing. He, like, his dad was, like, hitting him for getting wrong answers when talking about, like, a valve in the heart or something. And then, he's not saying, what is it, more than another word, Victor, and he's, like, beating him. He's like, give me your leg, beating him. Bad stuff. Not a fun scene. I didn't like that scene. But, just showing you how horrible of a human being, Victor Frankenstein is to the creature. So we're just going through more stuff. Elizabeth talks to the creature. She feels bad for it. And just some more weird stuff happens. And then eventually it's just getting bad. He learns that, what was it? Harlander or whatever. He has syphilis and he wants his brain to be put into the monster. That was kind of before that, and I kind of missed that. But, he ends up dying, blames it on the whatever. So, moral of the story, the Victor blows the entire place up, like, nuclear bomb style. With, like, a bunch of canteens. There's, like, 1 million fuel cans. It was kind of ridiculous at a certain point. But Castle Frankenstein blows up, and, we see the creature escape. And so we see him escape. A little bit before that, we hear him yelling, Victor, Victor, because he's scared. And we see someone grow a conscience for a wee second. He turns back, Victor, just blowing up the whole Castle Frankenstein. And he's like, oh, I might go save him. Turns around, runs to the door, gets Big Hero 6'd, back. His leg blows off. And that's kind of the end of it. His brother and Mia, or Elizabeth, they come see him. And that's kind of the end of the chapter. End of the chapter of Victor's Tale. And it cuts back to the Danish sailors. And it's pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie, where the creature comes on the screen. He's like, Victor has told you his tale. I will tell you mine. So that was really cool. And then so we get into the chapter 2 of The Creature's Tale. And The Creature's Tale was, that's what made the movie. Go figure. It's the creature is the best part. So it picks off pretty much immediately after he escapes Castle Frankenstein. And he's, kind of confused. He's... I did think of a weird thing. I don't know. When he woke up, he falls down into, like, the river. And then, like, washes ashore. But the shore is, like, really far away. So I don't know if it's, like, some type of water thing that went down. I just thought that was weird, because it shows him, like, sinking to the bottom, and then the next scene, with no swimming or anything, he's, like, washed up, but, like, not on a beach. He's, like, on some rocks somewhere. So I don't know if I just thought that was weird. It was a very weird scene. But it's whatever. So he wakes up and he's in the forest. He sees a deer, and I, kind of get the vibe like a deer, being pure or whatever, because they don't. I don't know. There's animals. They just chill around. They have nothing really to do. They're pretty chill with him. So I think like the deer is like kind of a spiritual judge of character in this. It's showing, and it's not scared of him, and he feeds it, and it's all nice, and then it gets shot by dudes. So it's kind of immediately showing that, oh, here come the humans again, messing things up like usual. So that was a really cool scene. I did like that. It was very beautiful. And before that, it's showing him kind of like looking at skulls and very, very cool mossy area. So I thought that was really neat. Very, very well done shots, specifically in the creatures part of the movie. So then we get to him pretty much stumbling upon the house that he will learn to pretty much become human, or just learn the ways of humanity, whatever, by the old man. GOAT character, loved the old man, loved it. So he pretty much hides away in like the walls and just starts learning from the kids, from the old man, just seeing day-to-day life on how these people are living, and it's pretty nice actually. And we see him help them out. They kind of revere him as like the spirit of the woods, which I think is pretty cool. Like he helps them out with like putting like sticks, or I forgot what it was for, but he would help them out. They leave him gifts like clothes, and it's pretty cool. And he the entire time's thinking like, how can I reveal myself to these people? Because he likes them. He thinks of them as like a family. And like the saddest part is when they were doing stuff, and I think he sees it happen to one of the kids, and he like pats himself on the head in the wall because he's so alone. That was like so sad. That made me so sad. But that was a really, really good scene. Just seeing that family, they're all nice and like, of course, that's what he wants. So eventually the family leaves, okay? And then the old man is the only one that's there. And then the creature was like, all right, I'm going to reveal myself now. So he, kind of hits the door, opens a little bit. Blind man's like, who's over there? Who's over there? Whatever. Like, come in. He's actually very calm about it, I'm not going to lie, for someone just coming into the house. But I guess what can you do when you're blind and 90 million years old? So eventually they start, very slowly talking. He's like, who are you? Like, traveler or whatever. And he's like, oh man, come have some brandy. Come talk to me, because he's a lonely old man. And, he kind of instantly knows he's the spirit of the woods or whatever. And they kind of learn to know each other. And I mean, I really liked the old man and the creature scene. It was very wholesome. He teaches him the ways of the world. He shows him books. I think he shows him Paradise Lost. Adam and Eve, all that stuff. So he's, learning all this, and it's really cool. He's becoming better with words, all this stuff. It's great. It's a really, really good scene. I was like, oh man, I hope nothing bad happens. So yeah, he's all good there. All I can hope is that when I'm old, I'm like the old man. I want to be like the old man. Oh, also Ozymandias, +1 just for that. We always love an Ozymandias talking point. I'm not gonna lie, I did tear up at this one scene. I just like it in any movies. It's even how I try to be. It's him just talking about being like a good man, what you should do, and how like he felt so bad for taking the life of another, something around those lines, of just being good. And I don't know, I really like that. That was the first tear up. And that was good. And then the next scenes we see the old man, he gets attacked by wolves because they live in like the most dangerous. I don't know where this movie takes place, but like, why do you live there? And you leave this old man alone in like instant like wolf den forest. Like, these things are like dire wolves. Like, Jesus. The worst thing about the wolves is just the CGI. They just look stupid, but it's not the biggest deal. So that was sad to see him die, and yeah, when he died, that was not cash money. He's like, said, what is it? He's like, my friend, stuff like that. It was very, very sad. So yeah, he pretty much, when when the old man dies, he kind of learns, it's like, all right, I need to go figure out who I am. And he goes to Castle Frankenstein, figures out he's just like, he's just a jumble of parts of different humans together. So he's not really anybody. And he just thinks of Victor. He needs to go after Victor, and he doesn't want to kill him. He just wants to, he wants someone to share his life with. Pretty, understandable, because he's, gained all these feelings and stuff like that. So it's, I don't know, it's very interesting, because, you immediately think he'd want to kill him, but if he kills him, then he loses his shot at, having a friend or a lover to, spend the rest of his immortal life with. That's one of my favorite things in movies. It's like why I love Prometheus so much, Alien, that Prometheus is even mentioned in this, is, the creation talking to the creator, or, the human talking to the god. That's some of my favorite things. I love it so much. Like, in Prometheus, Wayland talking to the engineer. I mean, you are literally talking to your creator. You made it to them. You want to know the reason, what does it mean to be alive? Why are we here? That question of the ages. It's captivating to me. Any format, I love it. So when Frankenstein and the creature are talking, kind of stuff like that, it's just really cool. I love that stuff. So that's always a plus one. And they get in a fight. He said, give me a bride, whatever. Victor ends up shooting Elizabeth, and then she's dead. I'm assuming that they're setting up the Bride of Frankenstein. Maybe, I don't know if this movie's going to get a sequel. I don't know if Guillermo even has the plans for that, or it was just maybe a reference. But that was cool to see. That would be interesting, I think, if they would do a Bride of Frankenstein movie. Now, yeah, I don't know, because I feel like this was probably a Netflix big budget movie, and I don't know. I don't know how Netflix works with their money, but that would be cool. And I will always accept any more projects from Guillermo. Please give him more stuff to do. So yeah, that was really neat. And then Victor starts hunting this guy. I mean, he goes full like Red Dead. Dude's getting dynamite. He's got dogs. He's got like an elephant gun. He's going after this dude. He wants to kill him. And so that brings us back to, the beginning of the movie, where like they're in the frozen ocean or whatever. And, he's just hunting him. And he has the dynamite scene was so good. He's like, hey man, he's kind of the leader now, the one that controls the situation, the creature. He's like, I'm gonna sit here with this dynamite, and you better run, dude. And like this dynamite, let's see if it works. Let's see. And I don't know. I didn't know the Frankenstein was this like powerful, I guess, because he just starts regenerating. Because you think that dynamite explosion was loud. That thing went boom, and he was fine. So I didn't know he was that immortal. So that was cool, I guess. And, Oscar Isaac, he's just, complaining the whole time, which was pretty funny. So we eventually get back to the ship where, they're telling their story to this captain. I just think it's funny the captain's just sitting there for this long, just like, okay, here, thanks, Victor, thanks for your story. And then like this 6'5" creature man walks in. He's like, nope, this is my side. So we get to the point where, Victor is dying on his deathbed like a ill Victorian child, and he's talking to the creature, and this was such a great scene. I'm not gonna lie, this one did have me tear up. So he's just talking about, he starts talking about that he's his son, and it's he's like his father, stuff like that. So that was really nice. And he kind of begs for forgiveness for everything he did to the creature. And that was really good, because it shows you how pure and how human the creature is, that he's able to forgive, his father, Victor, that did all these things to him. He abused him, he did all these things, and Victor's like, if you can't die and you know this, but you can live, so live. So that was a really impactful scene for me. I really enjoyed that. That was a good part. And then he kisses him on the forehead, and like, oh man, I'm like that. That made me cry right there. That was great. And like, I think it ends with the creature going, perhaps now we can both be human. Victor completing his cycle of being a human, dying, and now the creature can live on. Still not full human, but he can live. Instead of in this shadow of horribleness that he's been living through. So that was a really good thing. And the whole movie, is what it, in just the book, I would assume is just what does it mean to be human? It was just because you're a creature or whatever you are, it comes down to love, I would say. That's kind of the one of them, but I would say one of the most important. So yeah, I don't know. It was overall a beautiful movie. Yeah, no, again, 9 out of 10. Go watch it. It's good. It's on Netflix. Even better, you can watch it at home. But yeah, no, it's good. And remember, if you guys got any recommendations, please let me know. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys in the next one.